Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the match preview, Everton versus Aston Villa, in what I imagine is a double header, because I have no idea when the other game was actually. You were running out of days.
We worked it out yesterday when there's only really two times in the calendar it can be. It's either the week after this one, or if the Wolves game gets moved that weekend. So, because Villa have got midweek games as well.
Yeah.
So maybe they will just say, Saturday, listen, we're using Sunday League rules today. It's a double header, winner takes all, 6 points.
An hour game and then turn around.
Turn around, off you go.
So it feels weird that this is the first time we've played Villa in nearly basically a year of the season. I know it's not a year, but we played them right at the end of last season, Goodison, and it just seems weird that this is the first time, and obviously we're playing them again whenever we decide. But must-win game. Must-win game.
It's that phrase again.
It is that for you, but that's
they're all must-wins.
They're all must-wins, aren't they? They're all. I think Luca Dean said it a couple of weeks ago. They're all cup finals. If we want to get into Europe, we need to win all the games. So every game's a must-win game now. We've got 6 games left, and we certainly need to win 3 to get to that 60-point mark, which I've heralded for a while. But if we want Europe, it's probably going to have to be 4 out of 6. And when you look at the fixtures and you see like Manchester City away as one of them, doesn't leave much room for error, does it? So Villa at home on a Saturday night when they're not in a particularly great run gives us an opportunity. And hopefully after last week's win at Arsenal, I know the performance wasn't great, but hopefully that's renewed the spirit within the players, because I suppose we seen it this time last year, didn't we? We went to Spurs, we got beaten. From that moment on, you could feel players basically the season was ebbing away, flip-flops on. Whereas hopefully, players are still training hard. They still know there's something there, because there is still something there. You look at the table and you can, we're not that far away. The teams above us, no one's really pulling away as such. You've got the likes of Chelsea, you've got the distraction of the Champions League as well. Liverpool are, they've drawn the last couple of games with late goals against them. West Ham got beaten their last game, and Spurs are Spursy. So, this would be a fantastic opportunity and a game that, I think we must win. When we must win anyway. These are the kind of games where I look at on paper and go, got to be beating Aston Villa at home.
Yeah, the Villa are 7 points behind us, aren't they? So it's that thing we had with Arsenal last week, where you want to keep those teams below you. For Everton, us and Villa have obviously got the game in hand. We're 6 points behind Chelsea, who are 4th, but we've got a game in hand. Whether fourth's a little bit too far away, probably. But, everybody else, there's West Ham, Liverpool, Tottenham and us fighting for the 3. It's going to be 3 places now, isn't it, for Europe? If the other teams above us had Villa at home, you'd be looking and thinking you'd probably just slightly favour those teams over Villa. That's not saying Villa aren't a good side, because they are, and have done well this season.
Yeah.
It's only the form in the last kind of 8 games that's seen them drop away a little bit, because they've been up there all season. And you've got a few injuries as well, obviously. No Jack Grealish, Trezeguet being out, or is out rather. But from our perspective, looking at it, it's a game. We said last week going to Arsenal, if we beat Arsenal, everything goes on Villa, and then if we beat Villa, it'll all go on to West Ham next week. And that's the way it is at this stage of the season. And if you'd have said to the players, would you half a dozen games to go? Do you want to, every game to mean something? I'm sure every one of them would have said yeah, because that's what you do as footballers. You want to be involved at the business end of the season. Ancelotti said last week, didn't he, in his press conference, said if you'd have offered me this position at the start of the season, fighting for European football with 7 games as it was last week to go, I'd have took it all day long. Yeah. And that's what we said last week, we need 5 wins from 7. Well, we got 1. So now it's 4 from 6. And the home games for Everton, our home form, we've won 1 home game since December the 20th.
It's horrendous. Which
is horrific. So I'd like to think we'll correct that with our last 3 home games. We should have beat Spurs, we didn't. We should have beat Palace, we didn't. We can't do the same with Villa.
Yeah, the form at home has has been better. The performance has been better. Sorry, not the necessarily form, but the performances have been better. No, but you're right there. What you've just said there, you know, you get to this stage of the season, and you want every game to be must win. I mean, you don't want to be in a position where you're at the bottom of the table. Obviously, every game's must win, but you want to be in and around the top areas. And you know, if you think about it like that, that's what the season's supposed to be. The season's supposed to be when you get 5-6 games left. You want every game to be must win. You want something to be on it, because if there wasn't, then you wouldn't be competing. You know, I know people look at it and every week, and I know we make a joke, and I've seen it on TV as well. People, you know, like to Jamie Carragher and Kevin Campbell talking about a couple of weeks ago, going, "Oh, this one's a must win, and that one was a must win." But that's what you want. Surely that's the essence of football. Surely you want there to be something on the game so that you know that it's important, because you've got an opportunity to do something. You know, if you were in the top 4 now, every game would be a must win, because you're either trying to, you know, if you were going for the title or if you were trying to stay in the top 4. Well, we're trying to get in Europe one way or another. So you want that, and it's can the players deal with that pressure? And if they can't deal with that pressure, then we need new players. Because if that's the whole top and bottom of football, is can you ride those games out? Can you get through them? Can you get the result? Well, like you said, Friday we got a result at the Emirates when we desperately needed one. When it was that case of you've got to get something, and you see that, you know, that's what drives teams to win titles and trophies of any sort. Is can you do it? Can you get over that line? Can you just make sure you do it? And we haven't been very good at it. Let's be honest. The amount of times we've said, this game coming up's massive for us, and then we could go this position or that position, and we always seem to let ourselves down. We've got to start breaking through that now.
What I'd say is going into this game is that I feel like we're still playing within ourselves. I feel like there's more to come from Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I feel like the Richarlison just isn't hitting any kind of form, and you're hoping that if they do click, then we can put Villa to bed, and we can have a strong final 6 games, because us as fans, we're not in the ground, so it all feels a bit rubbish anyway. It's a bit like a TV sport. And imagine if we have nothing to play for as well now, people are just going to switch off. There's nothing there. So as Evertonians, we like you just said, absolutely right, we've let ourselves down a lot of times. We've got ourselves in this position. But we want to be in this, don't we? Isn't this what you want for your team? You want your team to play important games. You want your team to be going right to the end every season. Yeah, it'd be great from a nerve point of view if Everton were 20 points clearing and we're in Europe now, and you'd go, oh, yeah, you know, we might finish 5th, but if we don't, it doesn't matter because we're in Europe. Yeah, okay, that's all right because you're nice and calm and you can plan for next season, but football is about competition, and competition is about those big games, and those big games, can you overcome that? Can you win that? We've been on the other end when we've had big games in the last, God knows how many years. You know, we've lost 2 semi-finals in the last 10 years. You know, we've nearly got in fact, the last 11, 12 years, we've lost the cup final and 2 semi-finals, haven't we? And 3 semi-finals if you include the Carabao Cup. So we've had big moments where it might have gone the other way for us, and it hasn't. But we've also had too many seasons where this game would have meant nothing now. 6 games to go, and we're all like, just chalk another one off because, you know, get this season done and dusted. And we felt like that a little bit about watching it, but a few people have said to me over the last couple of weeks, and they're right, is that forget about the performances. Performances don't mean anything. It's just literally a point-gathering exercise now. We're not in the ground, so we can't influence it. Every team is kind of crap when you watch it.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
Everyone's playing. The football isn't great because players haven't had... There's been a lot of games. There's been no rest really for them. It's been a weird time to play football. They're not invigorated because there's no crowd there. And so it's just a case of can you amass enough points, whereas when we get back in the stadium and it looks like there might be 10,000 of us back in by Wolves, and the next season it looks like if everything's going the way it is, we can be back in stadiums, then it means something again, because then you feel like you can play your part in it again. So when we get back in the stadium, let's actually have things to go for. And European football, whether we're playing, you know, a team from Armenia and who are in the whatever, you know, they're doing, and they turn up with fellas who are electricians and other ones who drive the bus and all that. Great. We want that at Goodison. We could be, higher up the chart. Who knows, we could finish 5th. It's there. We win our game in hand, we're in with everybody else. But the only way we're still in those conversations is by winning this kind of game. This will be a tough game. Villa, like I said, are a good side. If they win, they go within 4 points of us. But for Everton, if Everton won this game, then that, to me, would be another team that aren't overtaking us anyway, because then it'd be, 10 points with 5 games to go. It'd be too much, I think, for Villa to make that ground up. And that's how I'm looking at it the moment, is that get the win, keep amassing them points and see where it puts us. But it's got to come with this weekend, build on that really good result at the Emirates last week. Yeah,
I think, it'll be, as you said there, the games haven't been great. And I think that's been becoming obvious now with a lot of people how poor the games have been. So I think you want it. I mean, what you're saying there, it's points gathering. You do want to have some kind of control over the game. You don't have to play well in terms of free-flowing football, but you want to have some kind of control over the game. And I think still that's something Everton lack. So I'd like to see some version of that where we get some control and I'd love to just see us put a team to bed. Do you know what I mean? I'd love to see. We haven't done that all season, have we? Barely. So I'd love to just see us put a team to bed. I really would. But Villa, as you mentioned, they're not in great form. I think it's 1-8.
One win in 8.
Coincides with Jack Grealish obviously not being in the side. He's their major spark. I mean, they've obviously got other good players. Ollie Watkins has had a really good season.
Ross Barkley's fit again.
Ross Barkley's fit. Obviously, he had a good start to the season, but tailed off. But John McGinn, is it?
Yeah,
he's come back. He's done really, very well. Martin's in goal.
Got Burton Traore. They've got good players. They're a good side. Dean Smith's done a good job. Then I'm glad they've left them as well, because there was all of that. There's this thing, isn't there, with not clubs like Villa, but there's this thing with teams that come back up, and it's if they're not amazing, they get rid of the manager. And I know Jack Grealish, they were 8 minutes away from being relegated last season, and they stuck with Smith, and rightly so as well. I think he's done a good job, and they've had a good season, all right. Even if they finished where they were, you'd look and go, well, last season they were 17th, and this season they're 11th. Yeah. So that's progress. You know? They'll go and get another couple in the summer. Can they build again? And Villa are like Everton. Villa are a fantastic club with amazing history, brilliant history. They've had a little bit of a yo-yo time, but they're coming back, which is good. And it's the most played fixture in English football, the 250th game between these two clubs. So two big, great clubs, playing in the top level. But from our perspective, we've got to take advantage that they haven't got Trezeguet, they haven't got Jack Grealish this weekend. Morgan Sampson's out as well, they haven't got him. So they have got a couple of big players who might make a difference for them. And I know Everton without the core, without Gabama and without the core. We'd have loved to have seen Gabama mummy in this, because I would think it would have been ideal. But it's an opportunity for us now to try to just build on, like I say, build on that victory last week. Because if you put 2 wins together in this league, it makes a huge difference.
Would you a little run and now, all right, we're unbeaten in our last 4, but 3 of them are draws. But if we could string a little run together for the end of the season, like we have done all season, a bad run, a good run, a bad run, a good, if we can string one together, now this has been the perfect time to string one together. We've got players back as well over the last week as well. So you nearly, you mentioned there, it's probably only Decore, and then there's an outside chance he might be back, in a couple of weeks. So
it's only got to be Gabam then, isn't it?
Yeah, so if we can, listen, I know you can pick up injuries whenever, but if they're all fighting fit and they're all trying to get into the team, that gives the manager the kind of headaches he wants, and that's having more players. So
what would you do with the back, just very briefly before we finish, what would you do with the back 4 this week? Because obviously we went to Arsenal, we played Holgate and Godfrey there, no Michael Keane. I'm assuming was either ill or injured.
I'd probably go with the 3.
Would you go back to?
I'd go back to.
These play 4-2-3-1, don't they? The last couple of games.
I'd probably go back to a 3, and get Seamus Coleman higher again, because I do like that at home.
Try to get him behind.
Try to get James Rodriguez more on the ball, because you take out an Andre Gomez or a Gylfi Sigurdsson, you're not losing loads in there, are you? So I'd probably take out one of them and bring the 3 back and introduce Mina back into the side. And that gives us that. I think that helps us with more attacking options. I think I understand why he did it at Arsenal, just to get more men in the midfield, but in an attacking sense, it didn't really work, did it?
No,
but it kept us solid.
Well, yeah, but we know we've done. I mean, we've won 10 away games, and the majority of the time, I know we won a few early on in the season, but the majority of the time, it's through playing that system, isn't it?
But what these will do is these will come on and have a go, and I think that can only help for us. I think that can only work. I don't think that they will sit back. I don't think the team knows how to sit back. I think they'll come and have a go at us, and I think that'll help us. In the way we want to play, you know, as you mentioned, our away performances are our best performances. So, but I think we have to. I think Carlo has to, which I think he has done the last 2 games. Just let them off the leash a little bit and use whatever strength you've got. I do think that's playing 3 at the back and getting Seamus Coleman as high as he can, because you know he's a great asset to the team when he's in the attacking mood. Yeah.
Everton failed to win either Premier League game against Villa last season for the first time. That had happened since 2011-12. This will be the 250th meeting. Everton have won 76, Villa have won 74. Doesn't it how tight it's been? Aston Villa have won more games and scored more goals in the Premier League against Everton than any other team. We've got a few of them, haven't we?
Yeah, that's because we're one of the only consistent teams.
Yeah, true. This is the latest first meeting between 2 sides in the English top flight since 1987-88, when Luton and Forest's first game against each other was on May the 13th. Everton have won just 1 of their last 9 home league games. I mean, that to me, in my memory, is like one of the worst.
It is, but I understand why.
There's reasons.
There's a caveat, isn't there? Let's be honest.
Everton have lost 7 home games this season. The Toffees only lost more in a 38-game season in 1996-97 and 2015-16 when they lost 8. Aston Villa lost just 4 of their first 14 Premier League games this season, finishing 2020 in 5th place. Since the turn of the year, they've lost 9 in 18 games. 12 of Everton's 44 Premier League goals this season have been headers, the highest ratio in the division. Meanwhile, Aston Villa have conceded the highest share of headed goals.
Get the ball in the
box. But no keeper has kept more clean away clean sheets than Martinez this season. He's had 8 clean sheets. Only 4 keepers have kept more: Shaka Hislop, Petr Cech, Ederson and Alisson. So we know he's a good goalkeeper. What's really mad is Arsenal let him go and kept Leno, which was really mad. But Villa saw that opportunity and they've got a good keeper in. So tough game, but one we've got to win.
Definitely one we've got to win, you know, by hook or by crook. There you go. Make sure you do your toffee picks ahead of this game. It is, you know, the game is somewhat at a regular time. It's not 8 o'clock on a Saturday night, it's not regular, but you know what I mean. So make sure you do your toffee picks, whether that's before the game, once you know the team news or whatever. Just make sure you do it. It's free. It's absolutely free. There's a prize pot of £500. The first winner, if there is a first winner, gets £250 or a share of £250, depending on how many people win. It's free. T's and C's apply. You must be 18 and you play responsibly, but it's free. It's absolutely free. ToffeePicks.com. There will be a link in the description and up there in the corner. So make sure you do that. Make sure to give this video a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. We've just gone over the 50,000 mark. Thank you all for getting us over the 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. But we want more because we're greedy. We're greedy. We want more. So subscribe if you haven't already. If you want more great videos, daily live videos, join us over on Patreon. The link is in the description and it's on the screen right now. See you later.